hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of this podcast. I have my brother with me. Man, we've gone. I think I connected with you first in Clubhouse, and just to see like the impact that we're able to make on people's lives in those rooms where we had people jump on and talk about jobs and stuff like that. And it was really fun. I think I met a whole lot of people in Clubhouse, but really excited about some of the things that you've been doing with really connecting people. You're a connector, and so that I don't do a poor job introducing you, let's have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. No, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Really excited to see that you're doing this. I think it's super important and it'll help a lot of people. My name is Jarrett Albritton. I've been in technology since 2006. Started my career off at IBM and then worked primarily with startups that were in the Series A stage. Helped them get all the way up to like IPO acquisition a couple of times, closed over $40 million in software deals. So my main expertise in software is software sales, enterprise software sales, where I work directly with executives, figuring out their business problems and how the implementation of technology can help scale their business, decrease cost, decrease compliance issues, all the things. Organically, I got pretty popular online on Clubhouse, as Iyanu mentioned, where I was just popped on a stage one day, had 80 followers, and just saw a room called Blacks in Technology. And I was like, oh, well, I'm Black. I've been in tech for like 15 years at that point. Let me see what's going on. And nobody's talking about software sales. I popped on stage, started talking about it. It got a real big response. Did another room the next day, went for 8 hours. And then I started doing rooms every day.
Every day.
In 2 months, I went from 80 followers to 30,000.
Whoa.
So, yeah, at that point, I quit my job because I was like, I feel bad. I'm on this app all day. I'm not doing my job. Let me just, let them hire somebody else. And what happened was when I got to 30,000, I had mad DMs of, hey, can you give me a job at Google, Microsoft, Amazon, because I'm talking to all these people on stage where I was just do impromptu interviews. Like Iyanu, I probably met him because I saw his bio and saw he's like this genius at artificial intelligence and all these things. And I pulled him off stage and I was like, Iyanu, like, how do people get to where you are? And that's all I was doing. So
Yeah.
I started hosting rooms where I'd put 30, 40 recruiters and hiring managers and HR leaders on stage. They would go through their roles in order and it became like a career shoot your shot room with a majority Black audience because that was my passion to see more people that look like us in tech. And we got hundreds of people jobs in those rooms. And then when I got to about 50,000 followers, Afrotech hit me up and said, hey, we love the rooms you're doing. We'd love for you to promote Afrotech. We'll pay you for it, which was great, win-win. And so when I started promoting Afrotech, that's when I started getting really ingrained with the entire Black tech conference scene. And then I moved it over to Twitter Spaces, and then I created a YouTube channel and podcast called Big Tech Energy. And today I just launched a community that I'm excited about called Big Stage Energy, where we connect people to decision makers via conferences, podcasts, speaking engagements. So excited to be here.
My goodness. Wow. That's incredible. Like seeing just how things sort of morphed up and evolved for you from jumping on Clubhouse, pursuing what I call return on purpose. There's some people that pursue return on investments. Return on investments is where like you're doing something, you expecting this in return. But return on purpose, I say, is where you go past really just trying to get money back, but actually trying to give to help other people grow and build and things of that nature. And that's one of the things that I really liked about your focus while you were on Clubhouse wasn't just about like basically, getting investment for something. It was really about like, how do you invest in other people's lives to help them grow? And we see this challenge right now where like we're seeing job cuts all across the board right now. How are you feeling about that situation? I'll talk about what I also think about it, just in general, because a lot of it is, the culprits in the room is AI. But what are you feeling? What are you sensing? What's kind of going on in the job market right now?
Yeah, job market is really difficult. I feel like technology is obviously it's a gift and it can be a curse for the average person that, you know, automation and AI, I think automation equally with AI are, equally going to, take a lot of positions away and it can also benefit people as well. But when it comes to like Afrotech, for instance, it was crazy. Like we're at Afrotech like a week or two ago, and across the news, Amazon cuts 30,000 jobs, and their booth is there, and they're just like, and I think at the end of the day, I can't really blame Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or these companies that are doing these layoffs because they're focused on shareholder value. And when shareholders see layoffs, they get excited and like, oh, I'm buying more because they just cut the cost down, but they're not going to cut productivity because robots are going to replace humans. And I don't know if this is true or not. You know better than me. I don't That's one thing that made me popular is I don't claim to be the expert in everything tech. So I speak what I know, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like certain AI engineers are almost replacing themselves ultimately. And so I think the job market is really tough for that reason. Like everybody is being rewarded financially for cutting people and they are focusing their money on creating technologies that allow them to cut people. And then the DEI situation since Trump's been in office has been crazy. Like people are petrified to say anything that even remotely talks to DEI. So that's why for me, I'm just telling people like you really have to really focus on human connection, focus on relationships, focus on getting to hiring managers that actually do still care about DEI. And you're not going to find it online because there's a fear of talking about DEI publicly online. You become a target. So they invest in going to certain events and that's where you need to be. But yeah, it's a rough market. It's going to get only rougher. A friend of mine was just at the NVIDIA GTC conference and I sent it to you in the DM. I don't know if you saw it, but her first thing was like, tech bros do not care about your jobs. Your jobs are being replaced. I just saw a robot saying that they'll work for like $20 a month and replace somebody that's getting paid like $5,000 a month. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's about to be crazy out here. So the best thing I would say is invest in the things that are going to replace us financially and build relationships. But I'll stop there.
No, I'm with you 100%. I think as AI starts becoming, I wouldn't even use the word popular. I would say becoming a tool for employment or the employee. I think it's more critical now than ever to really focus on human connections because I think we're going to ultimately get tired of using robots because humans crave human connection. Like if you saw during the COVID period, the reason why we're all on that app was because we're all not outside. And so everybody was looking for an opportunity to have conversations with people. And, we're stuck in the house 6 months, 7 months, and we weren't having any connection with anybody. And so Clubhouse became a huge popular thing because essentially now you had a platform where you could jump on and have like these wonderful conversations with people like you and people like uh XI and Anton and all these wonderful people that we got to connect with on the app. I think that's one thing. And then the second thing is that we need to really start thinking more about us being more producers and not consumers. And so what you see now is like, hey, you jump on OpenAI or the OpenAI bandwagon and we use the tools. We use Grok, we use all of these different tools, and they're all competing to sort of stay in this race and see who wins. But we really need to actively be thinking about how we become more producers rather than consumers of these tools. So, like, what can we do to create a new economy with AI and with skill, and that means that we need to really skill up. So there's also a skill set gap, and that's one of the reasons why we do training here in our company to equip people to just be ready to replace, you know, not replace, but to be ready to build things that would create new economies. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's the bigger challenge I'm finding. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big pusher of everybody in our community needs to learn the AI tools, get really good at prompting, get really good at incorporating it into our business. And it's the lowest barrier to entry to create a business ever because instead of having
Exactly.
to like hire a staff of 10 people, you can have
You can
one
add,
tool for your marketing. You can have one AI tool to kind of help you with lead generation. You have an AI tool to help you with content. You have an AI tool to help you in editing. So it's just like, we have to kind of like take what's being presented as a disadvantage as an employee and
exactly.
utilize it as an advantage as somebody that doesn't have to employ people to get to revenue. And one company that I'm actually excited to partner with is Dream Machine. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm familiar with them. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm actually helping them curate a event for, executives, diverse executives, so that these diverse executives can utilize AI in a way that's going to help them, one, create their own businesses. So instead of being an executive at a company, they can be like, all right, I'm going to be the CEO of another and, make things happen and hire our people, but at the same time, enjoy the efficiencies, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, or be more effective in their roles to be more moted against the different layoffs. Because if your productivity is high, they're not worried about how it's high. They just care that it's high. So if
Hmm.
you have AI helping you with email distribution, AI managing your calendar, AI increasing your sales, then the company is just like, okay, this person's good for the bottom line. So,
Right.
like partnering with organizations like that, partnering with, conferences like InvestFest and Afrotech and different organizations that are really focused on like, let's make sure that we are aware of the different resources and we help people with free training. And there's tons of free training. NVIDIA has free training, Google has free training, Amazon has free training, all the things. Um, and then when it comes to being producers, I think like Stefan Youngblood and
Hmm.
that group, Black AI Literacy Week, and
Yep.
those folks, like I love what they're doing on LinkedIn and how they have the LinkedIn talks. And it's just really about like surrounding yourself with people that are really curious, really exploring, trying new things. And at InvestFest, Jack Dorsey, the ex-founder of Twitter and big Bitcoin guy, and now he's at Block. He was just like, every day I spend at least 30 minutes to an hour doing things on AI I don't think is possible,
Hmm.
analyzing myself, trying to
Hmm.
break it, and learning things from it. And I think if
Hmm.
every person needs to have that mentality of like every day you should sharpen your iron and say, all right, this thing that I think is impossible that would take me months, let me see if I could do it in Grok. Let me see if I can do it in Perplexity. Let me see if I could do it in ChatGPT. And be surprised by it, learn from it, and each one teach one. So, and the last thing I'll say is like, I'm kind of going all over the place, but I have some thoughts. Um, when it comes to kids, right? I feel like AI is going to be like this gift and a curse. It's a gift in the sense that like every child has the opportunity to become very successful entrepreneur if they learn AI, but at the same time, I'm fearful of like they're losing that mental muscle that we build having to do regular arithmetic, having to actually write out essays, having to actually like, learn geography and apply. And now you can go ChatGPT, which country, but then little, boom, it's done for you. So I think it's important for parents to guardrail their kids against AI so they build that mental muscle and that critical thinking. But then once they have that critical thinking muscle, take that critical thinking muscle and apply it to prompting
Yep.
and utilizing AI and implementing it with the foundational, understanding of all the different things that are important. So, I mean, I think AI is so amazing, but I think it's scary at the same time. And if you don't have that balanced view, I think you're not being honest, honestly. So, yeah. Uh,
No,
well,
absolutely. There are now methods that you can actually use to essentially teach kids using AI to be better at whatever subjects that they're learning. So for example, there's the Socratic method, and there are other approaches as well. But the idea here is if you can essentially ask or prompt the kid with questions, and then the kid answers the questions, and then based on the answers you prompt them with another question. But then in the process, what you're doing is you're actually teaching them how to think. And so like you said it right, one of the beautiful things about AI is, the same thing that you can use to bless is the same thing that you can use to curse. So it's almost like you can take it and use it to build a whole cybersecurity infrastructure and secure an entire nation. At the same time, you can take it and then you use it, for negative. But it's really, how are we using it to really build and grow is sort of where the conversation really needs to sort of lean towards. There's an organization here in Cincinnati that I love so much, BYOC. And essentially what they do is they're helping kids to learn how to build computers and
nice.
learn all of those like real, like basic foundational skills. Because then when they learn that, like you can use AI to continue to develop that. How AI also even informs the way that we educate, like our universities and stuff. Some of that is going to really dramatically or drastically change. But here's the thing: there are other areas that AI isn't really supporting as much that we're actually going to see evolve that are actually helpful to our communities. Like, for example, in the treatment of cancer, personalized learning, personalized medicine, sorry, where AI can actually take the DNA of someone and understand that DNA to be able to really provide something that will be helpful to treat that specific patient. So, so it has its like sort of beautiful sides. It has its sort of like, there's this prediction that we're going to move from a 5-day to 3-day work week. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think what is it? Larry Fink from BlackRock was saying that, or somebody was saying that. One of those guys,
Bill Gates was also saying
Bill
something.
Gates, of course,
Yeah.
Bill, it's the mastermind in the puppeteer. Um, I could see that. I could see that. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it could be a good thing for salaried employees, obviously. But will they decrease their salary? What's the economics going to look like? But yeah, I mean, I don't know though. That's one that's a little bit philosophical for me because it's like, why do a 3-day work week when they can get 7 days of work in 5 days? Like,
Right.
I don't know. But I guess
What if what if
yeah,
you think about it from this perspective? I'm playing devil's advocate, but what if you think about it from this perspective, right? Like, so because of AI, um, essentially the cost of goods will drop drastically, like next to nothing, right? And then because of AI, because now you can use robots to do certain things. So of course, at some point, prices of things would drop. So maybe the prices of getting houses would drop, and everybody would be able to live, happily ever after, right? Like, if the cost of goods drop, then people don't necessarily have to. But like you said, also maybe people become lazy. So I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's all about like cost of goods drop. Will they pass those cost savings to the consumer, or will they just increase the profit?
True.
Like I want to believe in the good of human beings, but with this latest administration, I don't know if people are going to benefit. The regular people are going to benefit from the benefits of AI and cost of goods going down, or if it's just going to fatten the pockets and they're going to tell the shareholders, hey, we got more profit. And so like for the people that invest in the companies that benefit from cost of goods going down, I think that's really where I'm kind of telling people in our community, like, if you can't beat them, join them. So if you can't, you know, if you get laid off at Amazon, you might want to invest in Amazon stock and just hold it for 15 years, because as much as it sucks what they're doing, they're going to be rewarded. Meta's going to be rewarded. Nvidia is going to be rewarded. Like AMD is going to be rewarded. Like Tesla, uh, Elon Musk just got $1 trillion package. He only gets it if he hits certain thresholds. He's just introduced this robot that's like, it's going to be in every single home in 2030. I believe him. Like, as much as I disagree with a lot of stuff he does, like, he betting on himself, and he's going to figure out a way to make it happen. If he gets to that $1 trillion package, anybody that invests in Tesla right now is going to benefit. So I think we got to just invest in the companies that are going to disrupt our lives so that we can at least profit from the disruption.
I like what you're saying.
That's
I like what you're saying, because you have to, like, that's exactly my play. My play is, you go in, you do your business the way you're already doing it, and continue to move it the way you don't know what the future holds, but invest in something that would always stay even 10 years after. So, for example, like, I know people are going to have to find jobs. The government would have to do something about people's job situation. We're not just going to allow people to just stay and not necessarily work. If not, the economy, the overall economy is going to be affected, right? We see the prices of, we see the decrease in spend lately because of the layoffs, right? Because the middle class folks that are getting laid off, they can't go to Kroger and buy groceries as much as they used to anymore. And so we're seeing a drop in that specific price. And so the idea is that somehow, like, jobs will be created. But ultimately, if you're investing in companies that are going to continue to do well over a period of time, then also that's your cushion as well. That's your edge, and you're able to basically continue to offset whatever it is that the, the proliferation of AI, what that brings to the mix.
And what's crazy too is, like, you can use AI to tell you, like, what AI stocks to invest in and why.
Yep.
Like, Gary Vee had this, it's not that groundbreaking, but it's important. It's like, ChatGPT, tell me the newest AI tools to come out and what are the now leading tools in these areas, just so you can constantly be aware of new tools that are coming out. But I think ultimately it's all about becoming an entrepreneur, or at least having a side hustle while you are doing these jobs. And look, man, if you have a 3-day work week, that gives you 2 days of the weekday to create your own job. Instead of it being a 9 to 5, 5 to 9, it could be a Monday through Wednesday, Thursday through Saturday, type of thing. And then lastly, what I'll say just for parents is definitely encourage your kids to get into becoming an electrician, a plumber, or HVAC, especially if you can be an electrician that's specialized in data centers. Like, they will always have a job. They're going to be the new millionaires, all the things. I truly believe that. And they can be kind of in control because there's such a shortage it's coming, especially as population increases. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's going to be an interesting time. And that's why I'm just telling people, like, you cannot get comfortable thinking that you can just apply for roles on LinkedIn and get jobs like we did in 2021 or 2020.
That landscape is changing.
Auto apply is killing us. So, like, before I launched Big Stage Energy, I was a VP of strategy and sales at this company called Rightsy, and we have an AI powered career services platform, resumes, cover letters, interview prep, salary negotiation, all the things, which is dope. It kind of eliminates career coaches in a sense. So it's like our AI was kind of taking jobs too, unfortunately. And that's why career coaches at universities we're selling it to were like, get this shit out of here. Like, you know what I mean? But leadership is like, okay, as long as it helps students get to their goals faster, whatever the case is. But I bring that up because auto apply is like a gift and a curse. Like the fact that I can, one, create a resume with AI that probably overinflates all of my skills in terms of how I can write. AI is writing better than I can. It's probably breaking it down in a way that may have a little hallucination to it. And are people going to be with integrity and be honest about what is AI like adding to your resume,
Yep.
all the things? So now you're
Yep.
competing with people who are looking way better than you actually are. You may not get the interview because of that. So you got auto apply, you got AI enhanced resumes, and then you have AI taking away entry level jobs. So now you got more people applying because of auto apply. You got people applying with resumes that are super juiced up, and then you got less roles to break into different spaces because AI is taking those roles. And then there's layoffs where the pool of people applying for the roles is even higher and they're more qualified. So it's just like, you can't rely on online applications no more, man.
No
You can't,
more.
especially
No.
with all the BS jobs that are just sitting out there to collect data. It's just terrible out here.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what I'm telling people and why I started Big Stage Energy is because the only way you're really going to have a foundation of like opportunities that are real is to connect with real life people that actually make real life hiring decisions, and or connect with real life people that are building businesses that you can collaborate with, that you can learn from in terms of the AI tools that they're using, and just like, but you got to be around people. Like your network is
Yep.
important.
You have
Same
to.
thing for content creators, right? Like before I could, make a bunch of content and maybe it'll go viral. Now I'm going against these damn Sora videos where it's all this rage bait and clickbait and all this crazy stuff. I mean, I saw this one today. Now I won't get into that one because it's all offensive too. Like a lot of this AI content is very, very like offensive, but it's viral for that reason. You forward it because it has a
Right.
little bit of real world, application, but it's
Application.
fake.
Yeah.
Like we're going to use Sora for our, marketing, like a bunch of, just different funny videos and just throw them on TikTok. So like you're competing against AI resumes, you're competing against auto apply for content creators, you're going against AI slop. So like you got to get real relationships. You got to hop on a plane, be in the rooms and be around decision makers, because those decision makers are going to be inundated with people, and it's important for them to have you top of mind. And, people hire who they know, trust, and like, and people are not going to know, trust, and like you off of a resume or a LinkedIn page. They'll do that off of you being on podcasts like yours, or being on stages, or being in the rooms, networking in real life. And, like you said, like be led by purpose, not by profit. So even
Mhm.
with Big Stage Energy, like, yes, it's a business, there's a cost to being a member. But for me, it's like the purpose of being an insurance policy where people can say, all right, there's 100 conferences this year. I can go to any of them for free and build these human connections so that I can get in front of the recruiters that still care about DEI. I can get in front of the investors that are judging the pitch competitions, not just at the conference, but beforehand within our community. We'll give you that early access, kind of like the Clubhouse days. So you can say, all right, it does make sense to go to Diversitech because, not Amazon. Let me say another example. Adobe will be there and they're hiring, and I talked to the hiring manager beforehand. So let me book my flight, go there and build that human connection, maybe even have an on-site interview by that point. So just figuring out creative ways to add value to the job market without just like doing consultation calls or resume reviews. Cause honestly, I don't really feel like that does anything. What does something is me walking you up to the global DEI leader of Intuit and saying, hey, Dr. Iyanu is the guy. I saw that you had some AI leadership positions, boom, boom, boom. And now that human connection is there, the no trust and like factor, I'm passing it on to you through me. And you just got to be strategic. But I will say with AI, what's cool too is like, I can't code. I don't know nothing about coding, none of that. The fact that I was able to build out, bigstageaccess.com and a couple other .coms using Lovable and just putting in like a paragraph and it built out a fire like landing page with call to actions and
Yep.
the things. And then I can create, like free value documents to build out my email list. And, there's AI that can write the newsletter for me. It's just like, for me as an entrepreneur, I wouldn't be able to have moved so fast into the space with
Without.
these different
Yeah.
tools for sure. Even
Yep.
like putting together decks,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
the decks that I've been able to put together to get investors or this or that. It's been nuts.
You know, like so, and that's the way that I'm thinking about this is like I've spent a whole, a couple of hours, even days, really just thinking like if what drives any business is its sales engine, right? So if let's say for example, I was supposed to start with like 7 or 8 or 9 people, and I couldn't start with 8 or 9 people because I just really didn't have the resources to be able to pay for them. I mean, like there's no way I would have even been able to start anyways, without hiring these resources to be able to iron these human resources to be able to build out, my company. But now, like I can actually start it. I can get a few customers and I can actually hire people to take on some of the things that AI was already doing for me. And then they help become those like AI implementers or AI, whatever you want to call them, and then I start to grow that. And as I scale, then of course I'm not going to have just one person doing it. I don't think I don't think Amazon is going to get to a point where only one engineer manages all of the infrastructure. It's never going to happen. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? And I don't think Amazon is going to get to a point where it might, but I think the government will basically interrupt this if it actually happens, where it becomes like sentient, where you basically now you say, well, the AI would then be able to essentially manage the entire thing in such a way that it self corrects. I think that's a very dangerous place for any organization to take their AI, no matter what, how sophisticated your AI systems, would be. It's just like having a doctor basically attend to a patient, and now you say, well, I'm going to have AI attend to you, but like, I'm not going to have any doctor on site. I'm not going to have any nurse on site. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if something happens to the patient? Like, then what's going to happen? Right. So,
Yeah, but I think this world is a results focused world, right? So as long as like in the health profession, right? Um, Nobody wants a robot to completely from beginning to end manage
manage
their
your,
medical issues, especially if it's like life or death, right?
yep.
Because human error can still come into play with machines. That being said, though, if there's like some sort of true statistics saying you know, death by malpractice or, you know, the rate of success of a surgery increases exponentially due to a robot, we are always going to bet on what is going to get us the best, most secure result. So it's like as long as AI or robotics can provide a secure result, human nature is going to trust whatever gets the best result because life is short and we always are like on a we want to win by any means necessary type of mentality. That's kind of like the American fabric. You know what I'm saying? That's why slavery happened because they're like win at any cost. Like morals don't matter, right? So I want to have like faith in humans, but I don't really for honestly, like that's why I try to do what I can to be a good person and leave with purpose and value and all the things. But it's a balance. You got to also make sure that you can provide for your family. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, as long as the case can be made that the results are going to be stronger with robots and AI, people are just going to lean towards where the results can be. But like you said, you're going to hire people that know how to manage and create value with AI. So we should have that in our toolbox at all times. And in the interview process, I think it's important to say, you know, I'm going to work really hard, but I'm going to work smarter. Here's some of the AI tools that I'm going to bring to the table that are going to increase sales, decrease cost, decrease the time it takes for me to ramp up. And I think managers are going to be more interested in hiring employees that come with those proactive solutions that involve AI, but they also let them know, like, just because I have these tools, I'm not going to work 20 hours a week. I'm going to work the 40 hours a week. I'm just going to have 80 hours of production. So, you know, but like I said, I really think it's important to really get your entrepreneurial hat on, become an investor, and just diversify your opportunities so that you're not so reliant on a position. And you also just need to really do research on what positions are at risk of being completely replaced with AI. Because if that tsunami's coming for you, don't be arrogant to think that you're going to be able to be left standing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have to pivot. So yeah.
Wow, wow. So I'll shift the conversation a bit to connections. So I know for a fact that lots of people struggle with being able to connect with people and get opportunities, literally. I have personally been a beneficiary of that, where like you go to places, you have conversations with people, and when you connect with people, they talk to you, it feels like they can trust you. Then they start sort of building this rapport with you, and before you realize it, it turns into opportunities, it turns into gigs, it turns into everything. And so I think if it was possible, could you share how a complete novice who just graduated university and has spent 4 years, has some student loan to cover, and keeps hearing this where this AI thing is going, and it's like, is there even any opportunity for me coming out of school? Could you guide that person in few steps they could take to essentially engage recruiters and stuff like that? Of course, that's what Big Stage Energy also does, but like, can you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a free website that's just like a resource. If you don't, join Big Stage Energy, feel free to use this website. It's called securethebadge.com. So secure the BADGE.com. It looks like over 100 conferences that are happening all over the country and even internationally. And some are free, some have costs, some cost a lot of money. And that's the benefit of Big Stage Energy. For one flat rate of $4.99. We drop tickets, free tickets every Tuesday, and then we connect you with recruiters and hiring managers a month or two before the event so that you can, really confirm that it makes sense for you to actually book that flight. Because even if though the conference ticket is free, you still have other costs. And we're sensitive to that. And we also have travel hacks and things that we share. But I would definitely go on Secure the Badge and just figure out what are some conferences regionally that are easy for you to get to, and do the research of like, who are the speakers, what are the topics, what are the panels, and also who are the recruiters and hiring managers that are going to be there. And then before you even commit to it, go to the website and find roles that fit whatever it is that you were studying for, whatever you're excited about. So it's not like you're just going there hoping that these 10, 20, 30 companies that are recruiting there have roles, but you can actually verify like, oh, there's roles here. And then, I would reach out to them beforehand, maybe via LinkedIn, and say, hey, my name is Jarrett. I just graduated with a computer science degree, very interested in AI engineering. I found an AI engineering role that think I'm a great fit for. Here's my requisition number. Also, I'll be attending Thanksgiving in Washington, D.C. I saw that a representative would be there. Is anybody there on site that you recommend I speak to about the role? I would love to put a face in the name and, build a relationship. So I would go with that approach of, shoot your shot online. Like I said, you're amongst thousands that are doing the same thing, but adding the fact that you did the research and you found the role, the requisition number, even add your resume in there. And then the fact that you're going to pull up to the event, they might know the person there. They might forward you information to the person there. They might connect you with the person that'll be there. because like that in-person energy is huge. So I would say in 2026, I would advise people to attend as many events and conferences as possible, with the two goals: network laterally. So network with people that aren't decision makers, but are in the same boat as you, and you guys can knowledge transfer, knowledge share. And as they rise in their career, you rise in your career, you both can kind of out for each other and have some sort of community. And then from there, I would also say, try to connect with decision makers at these events. And what I say, like jokingly, but it's serious, like it's so dope to be able to electric slide next to a CTO, you know? And their guard is down. They see you as a human being, not as somebody that needs something. I also say when you talk to people at conferences, don't lead with, what do you do? Like, that shows that you're like thirsty for social climbing, career climbing, and you're not really invested in knowing them as a person. I ask questions like, hey, like, what are you really passionate about these days? What really gets you going? And is there anything that you're working on that I can support? Like, that's the energy that I bring to conversations, because now it gives them the opportunity to talk about something that might not even be about work. Well, on the side, I love doing yoga instructing. It's something that really just makes me feel good. Oh, awesome. Like, do you have a class that you're teaching? Yeah, I teach it every Tuesday and Thursday at, Solid Core. Awesome. I have some people in my network that live in that city. I'm definitely going to recommend them to join your class. What they're going to do then is be like, so what are you passionate about? And like, how can I support? Well, I just graduated from Vanderbilt. I got a computer science degree. I'm really passionate about AI engineering. I actually found a role on your website, ironically enough, that I'm really looking forward to applying to. And if you have any recommendations of who I should connect with, or, advice on the application process, that'd be huge. Well, you know what? Becky works for me. I'll give her a call. I'll give her the resume. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't have to be strategic or
Yep.
manipulative, but
Yep.
like, come with that energy of like, I want to know you
Conversational
person.
feel. Yeah.
All these executives, all these investors, et cetera, they're people, and they got passions outside of work. So leading with that question from an authentic place, like you actually want to know, not because I hope they ask me about my thing. That's the approach that I would take. And that's what I'm going to be teaching people on my social media channel, is how to authentically make connections, how to be researched and strategic about your time. And then besides that, there's all kinds of communities you can join that are free, that are paid, but everybody's like-minded. They're on the same kind of frequency, whether it's a Black AI literacy week in that group, whether it's baddies in tech and you're a Black woman in tech, you want to be around that. Whether you're a Black woman in sales, you're in systems in sales, whether you're a Black person in HR, you can join Black in HR, whether you're a Black man in tech, you can join Black men in tech community. And if you're just interested in like building connections, and then join my community, and like, we're going to make sure that you get the job, you get the funding, or you get on that stage in that podcast, so that you can really be in a more secure position. It's like an insurance policy. I look at it as like a buddy pass for tech conferences. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to just hop on that flight randomly, like, you can, and hopefully that flight is towards more revenue.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, so you help people get on stages as well, like get speaking.
Yeah, like me and you should talk about that too, because I think you should definitely be on like more stages,
Yep.
to
Yep.
podcasts, grow your business, etc.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been lucky enough to just build relationships with a lot of conference founders over the last 4 or 5 years. From that Afro tech exposure, all the kind of communities that I named off, these are friends of mine. I call them up or whatever. So beginning of this year, I did like a proof of concept, put on my Instagram channel, like, hey, if you're subject matter expert in tech, trying to get on more podcasts, conference stages, or monetize your brand, shoot me a DM. I got like 100 DMs. I was like, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I ended up like signing up 50 clients on like 3-month retainers. And we would just go through a list of the conferences that they want to go to. And then I would reach out to my friends and say, hey, I think they'd be great fit for this stage, that stage, this stage, that stage. And I was getting people booked on stages like this and that because of the relationship, right? Like, I've helped these conferences get sponsors. I've helped these conferences sell tickets. I've helped these conferences connect to community partners. So it's just like, they already are happy about the value that I bring, and they trust that I'm not going to put somebody on stage that's a
Somebody
total
changing. Yep.
scammer or total idiot, right?
Yep.
Even the people I'm working with
Wow.
were valuable, like they know their stuff. But they were struggling in the job market. They had been in job market. They've been in tech for 10 years and they were struggling to find a job. I'm like, get
Wow.
on some stages and get off stage,
Wow.
go to a recruiter that's recruiting at the event and be like, hey, I found this role on your website. By the way, I just talked about product management on stage. Now, like the recruiter's like, oh, dope. We came here looking for a product manager. My boss is going to be so happy we invested in this because not only did I get a product manager with a lot of experience, but they were the person on stage. You know what I'm saying? It increases your status. And then also, you never know who's in the audience too. You know, it could be your next hiring manager. It could be next referral. It could be an influencer that's like, wow, I love what they said on stage. I want them on my podcast. You get on their podcast. Now it's got, 10,000, 20,000 views. You never know who's viewing that. So it's just like, the attention economy is important. The relationship economy is important. And I think a lot of people are resting on their laurels, but I think the people that are going to be super, super secure are people with a network of relationships. So that's what I would tell the young people is like, really get out there, shake hands, build genuine connections. If you can get on podcasts and stages, do that. And so with our community, we have podcasters and conference organizers come into our community, host private Zoom calls, and explain exactly what they're looking for a guest or for a speaker, and then give you that chance to like build a rapport with them. So when there's 200 applicants for 50 speaking slots, at least they have some sort of reference to you. And then for me personally, I'll be like, I know it's between Sally and Jessica for the speaking engagement. Hook up Sally, please. I want her, you know what I'm saying? Like she invested in my community. I want to see, and I want her to be a testimonial to how Big Stage Energy was able to use a relationship to get her over the top. And then, want to help her drive revenue through affiliate links or whatever, by being on stage. Cause that's another thing. Like everybody's like, I need a paid speaking engagement. Tech conferences don't pay you to speak for the most part. So what you need to have is some sort of product or affiliate partnership or a consultation offering or fractional like CTO, fractional CRO, something, so that you can say, hey, if you're interested in what I talked about and I can add this value to your business, scan the QR code on the slide, or let's link on LinkedIn or follow me on Instagram or follow my podcast, Wokkah Podcast, So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at 2026. And I'm excited to see, like you mentioned before, like leading with value. How much impact can we have for our members? How many jobs can we get for our members? How many investment dollars can we get for our members? How many speaking engagements can we get for our members? And how can we turn those engagements into jobs or money for their business?
That is so, so, so awesome. So guys, we've been talking about AI sales and connecting with people. I think the sales conversation sometimes is really a connection conversation. And so really excited about what you're doing, Jarrett. And if our viewers wanted to connect with you, how best can they connect with you?
Yeah. So, if you want to learn more about our community, you can go to bigstageaccess.com and that'll kind of lay out the details of the community. If you want to sign up for the community, you can go to bigstage.energy. And I'll actually give you the link, Iyanu, because that's
So
one
I
thing
can
that we'll
share.
do as well is we have affiliate links where, anybody in our community that recommends Big Stage Energy to their friends and family, they get $99 for every sign up. So if you get on a stage, you can use that as a way to make money. And it's a win-win for me. Obviously, it's a win-win for
Right.
them.
Right.
But bigstage.energy, we drop tickets every Tuesday. We have hiring managers and recruiters that come in and share roles that aren't published online. and they'll be at the conferences. We'll have investors come in. We'll have conference organizers come in about speaking opportunities. We'll have podcasters come in about being on the podcast. So we'd love for you to pop in there and see
That'd
if
be
your
awesome.
next guest might be in there, because we have some really dope like executives, thought leaders in the group, because they know about what I can do from a conference podcast perspective. They might not be looking for a job, and they like to just pull up to conferences. And if I can get you a ticket that costs $2,500 for free, then that $500 for the year makes sense.
Yeah.
Instagram, Dr. J. I know it looks like Doc Taj, but it's Dr. J, DOCTAJ. Definitely can be on Instagram. And then our Instagram for our business is bigstage.energy. If you'd like to see some of the conversations that I have on my podcast, it's Big Tech Energy, uh, on YouTube, Spotify, and all the platforms. And I mean, I probably have a couple more places I could send you, but I would just say, bigstage.energy. Would love to see you as part of the community. We'll schedule a one-on-one with you. We'll figure out how we can get you a quick win. And for 12 months, we're really going to pour into the community, and also the community is going to pour into the community. So, yeah, excited for what you're doing, man. From Clubhouse to Wokkah Podcast.
Yeah.
This is awesome, and excited for our episode to come out so I can share it with my community and get your subscribers popping, and whatever I can do
I
to
can't
lead
wait.
to your success, I would love to do it.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, Jared. Really, really appreciate it. And really, I appreciate what you're doing for the community as well, helping people connect with jobs in a season where AI is taking jobs. And so I think it's a very, very laudable cause. Like it's a big deal now where everybody's kind of scared, nervous, and really thinking about how to position themselves. And there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of panic. Everybody's taking all AI courses, but not necessarily sure which one is going to do it for them, for you to be delivering that value. So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, one
And
last quote I want to say. Have you ever watched the Netflix documentary, The Black Godfather?
no, I should watch that. All
Watch
right.
it. Yeah, it's really good. It's about this guy named Clarence Avant. He's like the big connector in the music industry, from the Sinatra days to Quincy Jones to like everybody. But his phrase that I love is, "I don't have problems, I have friends." So
Mm,
whenever there's a problem that comes up, if you have friends that can help you solve it, you don't
mm,
have problems. So really lean into being a good friend, and your
mm,
friendships will come back to you as they
mm.
should. In the last place I'll say to connect with me, because I'm about to go really hard in this space. And if I have advice for any young person, listen to this: LinkedIn. Let's connect on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Jarrett Albritton. I'll be, with the kind of pretty picture, the one I have in Clubhouse. Let's connect on LinkedIn. I'm really tapping into LinkedIn in 2026, and building community there as well. So definitely make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date, because that's where the money is.
Wow. Wow. Thanks so much, Jared, for popping in here. We're so grateful to have you on. We'll definitely have you back, and looking forward to ways that we can collaborate with you as well. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.